What is happening, everybody? Mattmade here. Underhero is an adventure platformer developed and published by Paper Castle Games. It was released on Steam September 19th, 2018. This tale starts out as any other. A hero is on his way to defeat a great evil and free the land of his tyranny, when a few minions stand in his way. Knowing that they stand no chance and are there as fodder, and to drop health potions for the protagonist, they try to come up with a plan. They don't come up with much, but one of the trio of masked kids has an insane idea. And it actually works. The main character is then killed, along with the two comrades, but hey, ends justify the means, right? The hero's weapon, Elizabeth IV, asks the masked kid to hide her, and for some reason he does. It then switches perspectives from the now deceased hero to you, the masked kid. Another grunt walks in and surprises what you have done, takes you to the evil king, Mr. Stitches. There he takes the 3 gems that the hero had and tasks you with delivering them to each of the generals. The story really flips the hero trope on its head. As a grunt of the big bad, you can do various things any other type of hero couldn't. Not only do you get a sort of behind the scenes look at all of the minions of Mr. Stitches, but you get more of a personal and in-depth view of how they see the world and what problems they face in their day-to-day lives. From some of them hiding out because they're scared of fighting and being killed, to them just wanting a party and not really feeling all that evil. It gives a different take on the whole concept of what an enemy is and how you can interact with them. It really feels like it drew inspiration from Undertale, and then you don't always know if what you're doing is truly good, or if your perspective is just one of many that can be seen as correct. Things are played fast and loose with the enemies. They all have clever quips and are fun. While many of them may look the same, the way they talk or the things they say are vastly different from one another. As a masked kid and part of the army, you can speak with any and every member of the Stitches army. This allows you to gather a lot of info about where you are and where things might be. The writing is fun and the characters are depicted as quirky and odd, which is a great change from the usual tropes of adventure games. The mechanics of the game are pretty interesting. While outside of combat, the game feels like a standard platformer and even has you going on fetch quests to unlock different things and open up new paths. There are your run-of-the-mill moving platforms, pitfalls, and the occasional spike trap. While the movement does feel a bit slippery at times, you'll find yourself running, jumping, and gliding your way through the game. Being a minion warrants you access to many things you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. You not only have access to the home base where Mr. Stitches is, but during your travels you can speak with every other minion and explore each general's domain. By speaking with each minion, you can not only get more information about the boss and some lore, but also there are some quirky and interesting exchanges between you, well more so Elizabeth IV, and whatever minion you're talking to. These are pretty cool and gives the world's characters more depth. Once you get into battle, the game then switches to a more RPG-esque system. You have a few different options available at the start. You can pay off the enemy in order to make them go away. However, doing this will make the next enemy more expensive to pay off, so it isn't really a viable way to get through the game. Before you attack, you can also talk to the other minion and get hints about chests in the area or other helpful information. So doing this before each battle is a must, because once you attack, you lose that option and lose out on that tidbit of info. Once you've gotten any information out of them, you have various options to attack. From the sword with its light and fast attacks to the hammer's slow and powerful strike, you have many ways of tackling enemies. And there are a few different enemy types in the game, each requiring a different weapon to be able to hit and defeat them. There are zombie moles that can only be hit with the hammer, which feels like some sort of morbid version of whack-a-mole. And there are moths who can't be hit with the sword and only the slingshot. In battle, you also have a stamina bar, and each attack you do takes away some of your stamina. On top of which, each weapon takes a different amount of stamina to use. If you run out, you're unable to dodge or attack until your stamina refills, so keeping an eye on that is imperative. There's also a dodge and shield, which can help you regain that stamina much faster. You can use your shield at any time, and if you time the block right, then you can parry that attack. Parrying attacks allow you to avoid damaging your shield and stunning the enemy for a few seconds. On top of which, it will give you back a bit of your stamina. In the beginning, battles can be a slog due to you only having a bit of stamina, and it taking forever to defeat a single enemy. However, as you progress through the game and level up, you'll have an easier time and can play far more aggressively. Aside from your shield, you have your dodge, which does require you to have 3 points of stamina in order to do. Depending on the attack, you can dodge by jumping or ducking your enemy. This will give you the most stamina back by far. However, if you don't have the 3 hits of stamina, then the shield is your best option. As you level up, you do get the option to get more stamina, more health, or up your attack. Your playstyle will determine which one you pick. However, going for a balance is what I found to work for me. All of the characters are both interesting and unique looking. Every minion is different in the way they talk and the way they interact with you, making them more than just an obstacle for you to overcome. There are a few times I was fighting enemies and I actually felt bad that I had to defeat them. I felt for them more than I do some side characters in other games. This shows just how well written the characters and enemies are. Each have their own motivation and most of them just want to live their lives, and their most pressing concern is either partying or if Taco Tuesday will ever come back. Its lighthearted approach is a huge departure from its dark and grim opening act. Add in the fact that the game is a bit self-aware and pokes fun at the common platformer and adventure game tropes, and you are guaranteed to have a great time. The bosses are the most dynamic and interesting by far. As you go through each of their regions, you learn different things about them and while they are working under Mr. Stitches. Interacting with every enemy and boss is a key part of the game, and skipping over that is not recommended. You will miss out on a lot of the lore and the interesting aspects that set this game apart from other platformers. Even the dialogue with the bosses themselves just adds to the lore and deepens the story. They aren't regulated to just being roadblocks or power-up points for your character. They tell you about themselves and show you more depth than bosses in many other games. They feel like they have a history and are living their lives before you come there to defeat them. Design-wise, the game is fairly average. The events of the game all happen within each of the boss's domains and in Mr. Stitch's castle. While you may not go all over the world, you do have many rooms as well as nooks and crannies to find for secrets. By exploring, you can find many hidden items such as potions, antidotes, and anvils, which can be used to repair damage to your shield. The save system is pretty funny as well. Instead of your usual save points, you clock into a timestamp machine that saves your progress. Not only that, but you have to pay to use the machine the first time you do it. It makes you have to think about what to spend your money on and if it's worth paying off an enemy or defeating them. Each character type is vastly different in how they look. However, all of the types are unique and interesting. From the ghosts to the weird robo-ants, each minion is memorable and odd. All of them are well animated and have a variety of attack animations that help tip you off to what kind of attack they're about to do. Aside from the characters, the locales are also well crafted. Each area has an amazing atmosphere and design. The spooky mansion looks and feels as though something is lurking around the corner. The forest is lush and vibrant, and the island area feels just wild and untamed. The design of each area, while not visually breathtaking, get the point across and gets it across well. There are very few times where you look at something in the world and it breaks the immersion or conflicts with the world that the devs have built. The only section that I can say feels a bit out of place is the game show part. It's off-putting and feels out of this world. While it was enjoyable and a way to earn a boatload of coins, that part in and of itself feels contradictory. Overall, Underhero is a fun, interesting, and nonsensical adventure platformer that I would recommend to anyone who is a fan of adventure games. Its quirky and fun characters, along with its interesting story, will keep you hooked from start to finish. And there are many things that I left out, either to not spoil or just to keep the review shorter. While the adventure isn't long, it is definitely enjoyable, and it goes to show you that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they're just a minion in the right place at the right time. But what do you all think? Does Underhero look interesting? Do you like the premise? Do you like the design? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And don't forget, if you're a fan of gaming, consider striking that subscribe button. This is Mattmade, and I will see you all tomorrow.